Welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about some of the things that happened when I was at PSX. It was totally insane, aside from the fact that we got news of the Uncharted 4 DLC, bigger than a DLC, but shorter than a full-fledged AAA game. And the announcement of The Last of Us 2, I was like already on cloud nine. I was praying that we would get those two announcements specifically. And, like they were on the day before PSX, I think it was a few days before, that they announced that Tim Schafer was going to be having a meet and greet at the PlayStation Experience. And I was like so excited. I'm like, I have to go see if I can get in on this meet and greet. So it was like weird because the way they had it organized, you really didn't know where it was. We just happened to luck out and find it early enough. So I was like the first one online, like the third one online. And I was like so nervous to even be. I brought my Brutal Legend game for him to sign. But I was so nervous to even go because I have like such terrible social anxiety, talking to people is not my thing. With you guys in this channel, it comes really easy because I'm so passionate about gaming and all this nerd stuff that it's just, I don't even realize how nervous and anxious I get when I talk, but because it's something that I'm so passionate about, I don't even feel the anxiety, which is great for someone like me who just has such a hard time in social areas of life. I'm not that it's like an anxiety. It's not even like I'm like a very nice person. It has nothing to do with, what type of person I am. It's just, I get very nervous in social situations. It's horrible because, it can stop you from doing a lot of things. And even while I was standing online and waiting, I'm like, I shouldn't even stay. I was getting so nervous. I'm like, what would I even say to him? I would just, I would be so embarrassed. I was be so worried that I would embarrass myself or something. And I was just like, no, I'm doing this. That when will I ever have this opportunity again? I don't know if he'll ever be doing another meet and greet. When will I be, in this situation? So I go online and he just walks up. I'm the third person online and he's so cool. He's like the coolest dude ever. He has he's carrying his own box of this stuff that he's going to sign for people. And he just walks up to the first guy online. He's like, hey, you're first. Here you go. And he just hands him the box. And the kid's like, okay. It was awesome. And he was just joking around. And then Greg Rice joined him up on the little platform area that they had sectioned off. And I recognize him because huge fan of Double Fine. I know everybody at Double Fine from just watching the documentary that they have and everything. So I'm like, oh my God, Tim Schafer is 2 feet away from me. What is happening with my, this is the most magical day of my life. This is insane. So when it was my turn next, I asked the kid behind me if he could just, please just take a picture, whatever, or just snap away. I don't care, whatever you can do. And so I went up. I was it was my turn. Literally, I was dripping sweat. I wanted to cry and vomit at the same time. I was so nervous. And what do you say to somebody who is your idol? You admire them so much. You respect their work so much. You know how much work they put into. You know how talented they are. But he's such a cool person, such an amazing person. I've been following him on Twitter, whatever, and I've been a fan of his since forever. But what do you say to somebody like that? How do you even begin to I don't know. I couldn't even I had no idea what even was going to happen, but I just said just do it and just go and stop being, such a nerd and just do it. So I go to walk up to him and I'm shaking. I'm literally shaking. And he looks at me and he goes, hey, I know you. And I literally went to look behind me. I'm he's not talking to me, right? Because how would Tim Schafer know who the hell I was? And he was first of all, he was totally cool and the smoothest dude ever and everything. And he's I like your shirt. I was wearing my Headlander shirt, which I love. I have 4 Double Fine shirts. Like, my whole wardrobe consists of video game shirts. That's pretty much it. And I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, what is happening in my life right now? And I go, well, he goes, what's your name? And I said, it's Deirdre. I follow you on Twitter. And he was like, you did the streams for our game. He's like, wow, thank you so much. And I'm like, Tim Schafer knows who I am. He recognized me and he's talking to me right now. He's talking. These words are coming out of his face hole to talk to me right now. It was insane. It was insane. And I couldn't, like, I was totally caught off guard. Never in a million billion years would I even, I'm like getting teary eyed just thinking about it. It's insane. What an emotional roller coaster that day was. I can't even take it. And I was like, this is not happening. Like, is this like, am I dreaming this? Is this for real? And he said, thanks so much for doing those streams and thanks for helping out our company. I got to give you a hug. What? What? I almost died. Like, picked me up off the floor. I was dead. And then he hugged me. He was like hugging like a big teddy bear. And I was like, oh, thank you. I don't know. I was like so overwhelmed. I was like, if this could have been like something I could have dreamed and planned, it could not have gone any better. I was like Tim Schafer just hugged me. Like, hello? Like, I'm calling up like the news. Like, what? This is like not happening. This is insane. I was like so overwhelmed with happiness and excitement. I was totally caught off guard. He was like so nice. I mean, but I knew he's a nice person. I don't mean that. I just mean like I never thought in a million years he would even remotely know who I am. Like I follow him on Twitter forever and, but so does a million other people. I never thought that. But, and he was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, I didn't even know what to say. I'm like, no, I love Double Fine. And I was so cringy and I never know what to say. And I was so caught off guard by the whole thing. And I said something really cringy about like Double Fine. I'm like, Team Double Fine all the way. It was horrible. It was horrible. I can't believe he didn't like laugh at my face because I must have been like cringeworthiness of all time. It was horrible. The things, I don't even know what I was saying. Like, seriously, I'm like really nervous. Like I might have said something horrible, not horrible, but like really embarrassing to myself. And, so he's like, and I'm like, do you want to? I'm like, oh, I brought my Brutal Legend game. I'm like, I have like 4 or 5 copies at home, so it didn't matter which one I brought. Like, I didn't know what it was, what I was talking about. I literally, words were coming out of my mouth. I didn't know what I was saying. I was panicking. I was so happy and like over the moon, like dream come true. This is insane. Is this really happening? Like, this was like the day of dreams. It was unbelievable. So, yeah, so he took the thing out, he signed it. I have a picture. I'll show you guys. And he's like, how do you want me to sign this, your name? And I was like, oh, Deirdre. And he's like, O.C. is Deirdre? And I'm like, Tim Schafer knows my YouTube handle. What is happening right now? Is this real or am I in a dream? So it was so insane. And I'm like, okay, whatever you say, Tim Schafer. You could call me Fred if you want. You can sign it and it doesn't matter. I don't care. I'm just like over the moon right now. And, so he signed it. He goes, what's the punctuation is? I want to make sure I get the punctuation right. I'm like, oh my God. So I spelt it, my name for him or whatever. And he signed it and I'm like, thank you so much. I'm like, he's like, no, thank you what you've done. You've helped out our company by streaming our videos. I'm like, no, I love you guys. Like it wasn't like a thing to do. Like it was just, I'm such a huge fan. Like what his games mean to me, especially Brutal Legend, not to get too deep into it, but for a long time I didn't play video games. Everybody goes through their own hard times in their life and whatever. And since I was a kid, I always like O.C.Deidre, like obsessed with video games from when I was a kid. I mean, I used to spend hours, days, like I never, like you'd have to pull me off video games. It was really, I started young and for many years I stopped playing just because life got in the way and then you just whatever. Everybody goes through hard times, right? So, and until I heard about Brutal Legend, I didn't play games for a long time. Even with Uncharted, I always I watched people play it and I liked the game and I always wanted to play it, but I just didn't even think I'd be good at it anymore. I had like no confidence in myself or whatever. And then in Game Informer magazine, I saw that Tim Schafer was making a game called Brutal Legend, and it was going to be with Jack Black, and it was going to be about a world of heavy metal and songs and girls who kick ass. And just, I was like, this game might as well just be here, Deirdre. This is like, are you ready to come back yet? This is it. And I was like, this is my game. Like, if they have ever made a game for me, this is it. And I was counting down the days, and I couldn't, and it was like, talk about it not coming out, and with EA and all the nonsense and the shenanigans that was going on with them, but it came out October 13th, 2009. It came out, and I was in love. Like, this game brought me back 110% back into video gaming, and it was a joy to play. I have played it. If I've played it 500 times, I've played it, a million. Like, I've played that game so many times. I just sometimes will just spend the day just playing it, because it's such an awesome world to be in. And I know I started playing it on my channel, and now things are like so busy. I will get back to playing that game for you guys, because it's such an awesome game. If you haven't played it, please pick it up. You can get it for so cheap. You can get it on Steam, and it's so worth your time and money. It's just so beautiful. The whole team at Double Fine did such an amazing job, and the soundtrack is so kick-ass. It was unbelievable. I got to meet someone who I look up to so much and have so much respect for. And how do you thank somebody for something like you can't thank someone for something like that. And it's hard because you want to tell them how much it means to you. And I don't know. Video games are like, it's so easy for me to talk about video games and characters in video games. I'm so passionate about it. It helps me talk to other people. But I'm still incredibly cringy with people in real life. But if you ask me about video games, I can talk for hours. So it was just amazing. What an incredible, epic moment. I'm like so blown away by it. It was so amazing. Like, I literally, and he's like, all right, I got to get, there was like a whole line behind me of people. And I was like, okay, thank you. Like I didn't know. I was like in another world. I couldn't believe what just transpired. It was insane. So, thank you to Tim Schafer, for being so kind and so gracious and not laughing at me for being so cringy. And then it was weird because after that, we're walking through the floor, and now I don't know anybody, on the floor, there's a million people there, and somebody walks by and goes, hey, there you are again. And it was Tim Schafer. I'm like, oh, hi. Like, I didn't realize it was him until he like started walking away. But then he saw, I'm like, oh my God, I have got to stop embarrassing myself. This is horrific. So that was just an awesome moment. And then Saturday night, in our hotel was right attached to the event where they had the convention. There were two hotels one on each side. One was, and we were in one of them. And after dinner, we're sitting at the bar, just hanging out. It was a nice crowd. So, and I'm talking, and Danny turns around to me and he goes, Greg Miller's right over there. And I'm like, haha, very funny. Greg Miller's over there. And he went like this. He went, no, Greg Miller's over there. And he took my head and he like turned my head. And I'm like, Greg Miller's over there. He was 5 feet away from me. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. I'll show you the pictures. And it was like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, this is like the best day ever. What is happening in my life? And there were like a bunch of people around him, and they all wanted his attention, talk to him. And he's like, go up and say hello. And I'm like, no, I can't. I'm like, I'm too nervous. I'm too shy. Like, today was overwhelming as it is, So I'm like, I can't go over there. I'm too shy. I'm too nervous. I can't, like, people were like tapping him on the shoulder. And like, he was being so nice to everybody. He wasn't being rude. I'm like, this poor guy just had like a long day, and he's being surrounded. He probably just wants to have a drink and relax. And I didn't want to bother him. But everyone kept coming up to him, like, you see, I'm like, this is like, must be like all the time for him. People, always trying to say hi. And, he was being very nice and wasn't being like mean or anything, but I couldn't do it. So, Danny was like, then he's like, I'm going over there. I'm like, don't you dare. I'm like, no, don't. I'm going to die of embarrassment. Please don't. So he's like, all right, I'm just going to go buy him a drink and that'll be it. Okay. So I'm like, fine, whatever. So he went up to the bartender and he said, just buy him a drink from me, whatever. Oh, he had the drink and he left. About 15 minutes later, Danny says to me again, he's like, Greg Miller's behind you. I'm like, would you stop tormenting me? This is ridiculous now. He's like, no, seriously, he is right behind you. And I turn around. He was literally on my back, and he turned to Danny and he said, hey man, thanks for the drink. Bring it in. And he gave him a hug. Like, this is like the place of, I can't take it, all the good feelings. I was dead. I was dropping dead of all the goodness, of all the awesomeness. And I'm like, oh my God, Greg Miller just hugged you. This is crazy. My wife loves your content. She watches you all the time. She's a big fan of yours. And this, and she watches you every day. She's a huge fan. And, it was really nothing to buy you a drink. You make her so happy and she's whatever. And he was like, oh, really? He's like, oh, what's your name? And he shook my hand. And then 5 minutes later, I went to shake his hand again. I didn't know what I was doing. I was like so overwhelmed. And I was like, I'm talking to Greg Miller. Like, he is standing right next to me. This is insane. So couldn't have been nicer. I'm like, everybody is so nice. I couldn't believe it. Not that I couldn't believe they were being nice. I'm just like, was so overwhelmed by the whole thing. So we was like talking, whatever. And he said, so what do you think about that Last of Us trail? And I'm like, boy, you came to the right girl to talk about this. Like, this is awesome. He's like, have you? And I'm like, I'm so blown away. I'm like, that game means everything to me. I am such a huge fan of that game. I'm obsessed with it. Like, literally have played it 1,000 times. I know every inch of that game. So he said, what do you think about the rumors? Now, we were at PSX. We did not have time to like go on any of like the YouTube videos or anything on Twitter. We were busy from the second like we walked up. We did not have time to mess around on, look up on Twitter or anything. So he said, people are saying that they think that Joel is a ghost, that he's dead, and that, Ellie's just seeing him in her mind, and, the way he came in. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, I don't think so. I'm like, that, I think that the story is about them, and I think that that it's just she might be, spurned because someone had killed her girlfriend or a lover or whatever, and that she's just taking revenge. And like they said, at the panel or whatever, and we were like, and then, once I started talking about that, I like forgot about how nervous I was, and just was talking. It's like magic. So we were talking about that, and then I forget what else we were talking about. It's like such a blur because I was so overwhelmed, but he could not have been nicer. And I said, I watch you every day. I'm such a huge fan. Thank you for doing what you do. And I'm like, do you mind if I get a picture with you? Like, I was just like, he's like, sure. He put his arm around me, and I am smiling so hard in the picture. I am nerding out so bad. I am like hurting myself from smiling. It was unbelievable. It was like an embarrassment of riches that day for me, for everybody else who watched the PlayStation experience. It was like dreams come true. I mean, like, and even at the meet and greet, and then this random thing at the hotel, that was crazy. So it was an amazing event. And and then he was like, all right, I gotta go, but he talked to us for like 15 minutes, and he didn't have to do that. That was like so super nice of him. I asked him how Jen was. I'm like, how's Jen? She's so sweet. You guys are so cute together. That's his girlfriend. They've been dating. He's like, we're so in love. I'm like, oh my God. I said, you two are too cute. I can't even stand it. Like, I'm like, love them. So it was like just talking to a normal person. It was insane. So, meanwhile, during the day that we were at the event, I'm seeing all these people that I know and that I follow on Twitter and that I watch their videos, and I know all the developers and all these people, and I'm so awkward. It's not even fun. Like, seriously, it's so cringy. And I'm like, I'm up at the Double Fine booth, and I wanted to buy a Hexapal, which I'll go through all the goodie bags too. That'll be another video I'm going to do, going through all the goodies and the swag bag and the stuff I got. And so I'm up there and I see Greg Rice walking by. I'm like, hi, Greg Rice. Like, what the fuck is the matter with me? I'm like, I can only address people as the first and last name. There's something wrong with me. Like, I really need to go to a place where they teach normal human social skills because I am terrible at them. It's like you see these people that you follow and and you're like, I don't know what to say, but I just want to say hi, but I know who you are. And I want you to think that I'm just some stranger saying hi to you, but I am. It's so weird. It's so strange. So, and then it was so funny. Then there's a woman, Jackie Collins, who works at Adult Swim, who I follow on Twitter also. They worked with Double Fine doing Headlander, and she's so nice. And so when I walked past the booth, I saw her and I'm like, hey, Miss Jackie Collins, of course, first and last name, because I'm like total spaz. I don't know how to talk to people. And she was like, hi, I know who you are. I'm like, I'm Deidre from Twitter. And she's like, I know who you are. And she could not have been nicer. And she's so beautiful. She's even more stunning in person. It's ridiculous. And she's so nice. And, she took a picture with me, and I'll put that picture up. And she was so nice. It's like, I couldn't believe it, how nice people were. Not that I didn't think they'd be mean. It was just, I didn't think they would be so nice. When I was at the event, I also ran into a fellow YouTuber. His name is Dear Gamer. He is a small channel like me. He's bigger than my channel, but he does the Let's Plays like I do. And, when we talk on Twitter, he was telling me that he was going to PlayStation Experience, I said, I'll keep a heads up, look out for you. And I actually ran into him. Super nice guy. What a nice guy. His thumbnails always crack me up. He's just a great YouTuber. He has a lot of passion and love for what he does. So if you haven't checked him out, please check him out because he's just great. So just shout out to him. Tell him I sent you. If you go to subscribe to him or watch any of his videos, you won't regret it. He's really good. So keep an eye out for him. And then the best was, walking through the floor. It's so crowded. It was one floor this year. Last year was like 3 separate levels. So it wasn't as crazy. Couldn't even get into the PlayStation store. The line was at least 2-3 hours long every day, all day long. I couldn't even buy a friggin' keychain. I couldn't buy anything. Couldn't even step foot into there. It was crazy. Everyone was waiting online all day, the whole weekend. So, there's so many people. Everything's on one level. And I'm walking. I'm like, ooh, I'm like looking around, and all of a sudden I look and I see Arnie Meyer from Naughty Dog walking in, and I'm just like all normal. And then all of a sudden I'm like, and then like he looks at me and he sees the face that I made. I was so bad. And his face went like this. Like he's laughing at me because he saw my reaction to him. And he was like passing right, like we passed like this. And I went, hi, Arnie Meyer. Such a tool. There's something wrong with me. Oh my God. I'm like crying, laughing. It's so cringy. But I couldn't help myself. I was like, the face I made, like my whole face must have like lit up. It was crazy. Then we went to go get coffee in the other hotel. And this was the other hotel that apparently everybody else was staying at, people who were at the conference. Because we were walking in and we saw Neil Druckmann. Neil Druckmann was 5 feet away from me walking in. I don't know if he was with his wife and a friend or someone. It was like 3. It was him and 2 other women walking into a restaurant to eat dinner. And I'm like trying to like get a picture. The picture, you can't even see it. Just looks like a picture of a restaurant. And I'm like, this is insane. Could I have I fell into a nerd girl dream. This is not happening. And as we're walking, I'm like, oh my God, that was Neil Druckmann. I turn around, Arnie Meyer is there. I'm like, oh my God, hide quick. He's going to think I'm stalking him. I was like hiding, like it looked even worse. It was horrible. I was like, oh my God, he's going to think I'm a nut job. I'm like, I just want coffee. and then we walked out and we saw Gio Corsi with a bunch of people. And then I was walking back into the event after getting like something from the food truck for lunch, and I'm like stuffing my face with like a falafel, and I'm like, because I want to get back in. I grabbed the food and I'm like starving. I didn't eat all day, and I'm like running in and I see Gio Corsi walking out by himself. I'm like, hi, Gio Corsi. Everyone's gonna be like, who is that strange woman who keeps addressing everyone by their first and last names? We have to put her on the watch list for next year. Don't let her in. It was crazy, but in the best possible way. It was so much fun. It was a nerd girl or boy's dream come true. I am incredibly lucky that I was able to go. I was incredibly blessed that I got to talk to these amazing, talented people who I admire so much. And I was in heaven. It was like, I mean, like if after, doing all this, like Saturday, I could have went home Saturday. Like, it was perfect. It was like, it could not have gone. I'm like, I didn't expect anything else the rest of the weekend because it was so amazing. We sat in all the panels, the Naughty Dog panel, the Last of Us panel, the Kojima panel. I mean, like panel. The Horizon Zero Dawn was on Sunday. That was, the first one on Sunday they had, and then it was the PS I Love You panel. We sat in on that. They had a Kojima, meet and greet. The line was like literally 900 people long. The meet and greet for The Last of Us, the Naughty Dog crew, was 900 people long. If you weren't online for 3 hours before, then you were not getting into them. I just happened to luck out because Tim Schafer's meet and greet was like the first one, and no one really knew where it was, and I happened to get lucky and just figure out and ask somebody who worked there, and like, because it was like, I don't know why they weren't putting it out there, but as soon as I got online, like that's when the line started. It was crazy. So what a weekend. The weekend of dreams coming true. It was so amazing. It was magical. Neil Druckmann's beard is glorious in person. I can't even know what else to say. He is just even more perfect in person than you can imagine, and his beard is glorious. I just want to live in his beard. It's just, that doesn't sound creepy at all, really. It was just amazing, and to be in the panel for the Last of Us and talking about it, it was like, please don't wake me up. This is like my dream come true. So sorry, this is running a little bit long, but I think I told you, I think that was everything. Me and my cringiness and my awkwardness just, it was horrible, but it was so worth it. So I'll be back with, tomorrow I'll do another video for the swag bag and the cards and all the stuff. Like when I tell you I glanced in it, I still haven't had time to even go through it and see for myself. So, I mean, you will see as I see. I think I literally glanced in the bag and that was it, because it was such a crazy weekend. It was from like morning. We would wake up at like 5 a.m. and then just go until, like midnight, on both nights. And it was just perfect, and it was awesome, and everybody was so cool, and even the people at the event. I also met there were Krillbite. I don't know if at this game they're working on Mosaic. They did Among the Sleep, and I did a playthrough demo. I'll show it and then I'm gonna have like a video of like all the stuff, a montage of all the games and all the developers and all the stuff that I saw there. But I played a demo of theirs and it was beautiful. But they're working on Mosaic, which I'm so excited for. These guys are from Norway. Follow them on Twitter, please, because they are the nicest people. They're so nice. They talked to us for like 15 minutes because I was asking them about the game. I'm like, I know about this game and I want to know more about it. I'm like, I want to play it, and it wasn't ready for demo or anything like that, but they would just, had it up there. So many good games, so many good things that were there. So everyone was super nice. I could not have asked for a better experience there. So I'll be back with more PSX swag bag stuff, and I'll be back with another video with a montage of everything that I saw there. I took lots of videos as much as I could, and that's about it. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll be back with more.